we are in this transformation challenge, and I woke up this morning and I was walking into my living room like I always do. And I was thinking about my retreat that I talked about yesterday at the end, our Oasis of Opportunity retreat. And I reached to turn on the lights in the living room like I always do, and I just happened to look out our back door. Now, usually the curtain is closed, and sometimes I look over in the living room, I'm looking in the kitchen, I'm doing whatever. Well, I just happened to look out our back door, and at that exact same time, something flew by, and I was like, "Did something just fly by?" Or am I like, I just woke up, so maybe I'm making up stuff in my head. So I look out the back door and I see this giant owl, like, I mean, this big, sitting on the fence. Yes, Dawn. I mean, I was like, "What? This is incredible." So then I just sat there staring at this owl. I'm like, if any of my neighbors are watching me, they're like, "What is this lady doing?" She's just staring out the window like a creep. And I'm just watching the owl. I turn on the light. I couldn't see it as well with the light on, so I turned that off. It didn't scare it. And I'm just sitting there for a while, and then all of a sudden I kind of opened the door to see if it would move, and I could hear the swooping of the wings. It was incredible. So then I looked up because I'm very much into the woo-woo type stuff. And I looked at good medicine. I love it. Yes, Dawn. I look up, what is owl spirit meaning? And I saw that, Dawn. I saw good fortune, and several articles said change and transformation. And here we are doing this transformation challenge. And I was in the middle of thinking of that retreat, which is a transformation for me of doing that retreat and for the people that go. And it was this beautiful moment that I had this morning, and you all are the first to hear about it. I am just like, that was so cool and wanted to share. Okay, now let me share my slides so we can dive into today's final content. Today is going to be more tactical for sure. We're going to talk more about your system for growth and visibility and digital marketing. And let me just get one final thing fixed on my side so I can see some of you here. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, so day 3 is all about growth and visibility. And yeah, Mela, I hope I'm saying your name right. Awesome Owl Story of Transformation. Good morning and happy Wednesday to you as well, Pauline. I know it was so cool. So we are going to be talking about the growth and possibility and visibility today. So day 1 was really about getting clear, the clarity, the vision, where we're going, goal setting, life strategy. Yesterday, we talked about how do we create that action? How do we build on momentum? And part of that action piece was taking those SMART goals and reverse engineering them to come up with focused strategies to help us hit those goals and setting things in place that creates that accountability and kind of changing the way that we do things in order to achieve our goals. And so okay, good. And so I know, thank you. I feel like the red sweater, Cholet, I don't know if I'm saying your name right either, but we are like totally twinning with our red sweaters. So I love it. I know, looking good, looking good. And so today is about, okay, we're taking these things and how do we kind of amplify? As a business, we're often thinking about that growth. The visibility is so important because if you are not showing up, you don't exist. We know that the consumer's attention is on the mobile device every single day, multiple times a day. And so we have this amazing opportunity to show up and connect with them there. And so we're going to talk about a system on helping you do your digital marketing easier, helping you grow that visibility easier. And this is my second time teaching this brand new content. So you're in for a treat for some new training. So we're going to talk about why social media doesn't get done or doesn't get done well. We'll go over the digital content system, and we'll talk about the 30 post framework. And then the number one thing that's holding retailers back from really growing and getting that visibility, especially on social media. So let's quickly talk about why social media doesn't get done or doesn't get done well. The first thing is resistance. We resist it for a lot of different reasons. We've got limited resources, time, budget, help. We have lack of expertise. It's changing all the time, so it's hard to keep up with. We have fear of failure, of putting ourselves out there and it not working and not performing. It didn't work in the past. I've tried Instagram and Facebook. I've tried ads. I've tried Reels. I've tried TikTok. It didn't work for me. So we kind of write it off and resist continuing to use it. We could be over reliant on word of mouth, thinking I've got the best store and the best products and people love me. And, but the key is like, they've got to come in first to experience you. And so we've got to put ourselves out there. And then, of course, technology too, which is also moving so quickly, and that can create some of that resistance of not showing up. And then also comparing ourselves to others. I live in Northern Colorado, and so a few months ago, I was in Fort Collins, and I was going around talking to some of the business owners and inviting them to our conference Evolve. And I got started chatting with a new boutique, and I'm like, "How's traffic been?" Like, she's on a really busy street in Fort Collins. And she's like, it's been kind of slow. And I'm like, well, what are you doing to market? She's like, well, we do some events. And she's kind of telling me about her events. And I'm like, are you using social media? Like, are you getting out there and connecting with people on social? Like, we've got a pretty active social town. I see the content on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And she's like, no, not really. But the store a few doors down does a really good job. And I'm like, well, but what about you? I mean, this is about you building your audience, your relationships, you connecting. And there was I could see it in her, this resistance of somebody else is doing way better than I ever could do. So I'm not even going to try. And that is just, you're doing a disservice to your customers. They want to know you, they want to connect with you. And even if there's a similar store down the road, they could shop at both places, right? Like, we find our people, we connect with our people. And that's the beauty of social media, is it allows us to get to know the people that work in the business and run these businesses. The second reason is we don't have a plan. And this is such a great time. This is why we're doing this transformation challenge at the beginning of the year, because this is a great time to create that plan. Most of us are just posting when we think about it. We get new merchandise in, we have an event, we have a promotion, and we post, and that's kind of it. We don't really have a plan. And the third thing is we don't have a system. I call this your winning slot machine, where we could just pull the lever and see continuous success. We have a system. We know what works. We pull the lever, we see more success. And that is ultimately what we want to create. And today, I'm going to give you some tools to create that system, which will help create more of your transformation on how you're getting your digital marketing done. I believe you need to succeed. Clarity on what you want to achieve, which we talked about in day one. You have to have the courage to take action. It is not about the confidence. It is about courage. We talked a little bit about that yesterday because somebody's word was confidence. And I just want to encourage anybody here to really focus on the courage to put yourself out there, to do it afraid, to take the next step, because your audience is waiting to connect with you. Then we have to commit to that plan. We have to have consistency through a system and really implement that system, and then help. Ideally, you do have somebody in your store that is taking pictures, that is creating the videos, that they're doing some of the editing, they're posting. Maybe they're also responding to people as they're commenting and DMing you. It is challenging to run a business and create the content for social. It doesn't mean that it can't be done. We work with retailers who are successful at it, but the ultimate goal, where I see the most success out of digital marketing, is that somebody on your team is helping you with it. And so that's what we try to kind of work towards. We really need to we need to focus on capturing the attention of our customers. And when we're posting things like buy this just came in, this is on sale, buy now, new items, that is interruption. It's like everyone else, and it's forgettable. And it's my goal for your content to be memorable in a sea of forgettable. There's so much noise on social media. So it's about creating strategic, thoughtful content that your customers are actually going to stop the scroll and read or watch and engage with. That's what we really want to focus on, is creating meaningful content, not promoting all the time. When we create meaningful content, we create meaningful connections. And what we do with meaningful content and those meaningful connections is we are intercepting people's attention online versus interrupting it, and really focusing on building our relationships with them through social. So I want you to approach your marketing as a system, but sometimes system can feel heavy, daunting. We're not big box businesses here. We don't have big teams, a whole team of people that are managing and creating our content. So we really want to focus on it being very strategic for a retail store and practical to a small business. And so what I believe you need is your digital content system, which I'll review, your marketing calendar. You probably have a calendar that has all the different sales that you put on, events that you do, all the holidays. Retail so holiday focused. So we're going to take that marketing calendar and we'll use that for your social content. We'll use the 30 post framework that I'll introduce today with a tool to help you make this very quick and easy for you and streamline it. We'll use AI, like ChatGPT is my favorite AI tool. That's what I'll talk about today. If you use a different AI tool, then you can use a different one. That's totally fine. And then canva.com is one of the best design tools. So when you need those graphics for your promotions, your events, things like that, that you're designing that is branded, it should always have a consistent look and feel and brand. Canva is a great tool. I really feel like this is all that you really need for your system. So the digital marketing system, this is essentially a bird's eye view of what you need to be focusing on when it comes to your digital content. And when I say digital content, I'm meaning things like your social media posts, your email marketing, your text marketing, anything that you're doing that's more digital. We follow this system. And so marketing 101, we know our target audience. We identify who those people are. We list the pain and solutions. Our content needs to connect to our customers, and it does so when we talk about their pain points, when we meet them where they are. And we'll go deeper on that today. Then we need to create the posts and get them posted, or create the emails and send those out on the right channels of where our customers are showing up. We then document and share. And this is something I'm wanting more retailers to think about, of documenting your day-to-day and your business versus being a content creator. Sometimes that word, I'm a content creator, because in my mind, as small business owners, now all of a sudden we're basically all content creators. Like it or not, we're all content creators because of social media, right? Like we're taking pictures, we're doing videos. Like this is the way to connect with consumers and the free way to do it. So we are content creators, but that word sometimes can feel heavy or be like, I'm not that creative, or you feel like you have to do all this design or editing and the transitions and all the fancy things. And instead, I want you to focus on being I want you to focus on documenting. Just document your day. You would be amazed at how people find the day-to-day stuff interesting, how they actually engage with that content. And it allows for people to get to know you as a business owner. So this can be personal stuff if you're willing to share that, of like, oh, I had this great conversation with my daughter last night over dinner, and this is what we talked about. Or something that you're working on, or a class that you're attending, or whatever. Or there's so much from a business perspective of a day in the life of a store owner, getting new merchandise in and having it just be more documenting than promotional, and they get to know you. So I really want you to focus. That's really the behind the scenes type of content, and we've got to have it in there. Because when I'm looking at two different stores to shop from, and I see one that's documenting, I see them every day, I see their face, I know their story, I know more about them, I see their team, they're helpful, they're talking about trends, they're storytellers, they're just like showing up all the time. And I almost feel like they're my best friend. Versus the exact type of store, but somebody else who I never see. All I see on their social is pictures of product. I have no idea who's working there. I haven't built the relationship. I don't feel the connection. When it's time for me to buy what these stores sell, who am I picking? I'm picking the one that I feel like is my best friend, right? Like I want to support that person. So that's where the documenting and sharing really is so critical to the digital content system. And then we are encouraging that engagement, having people share and comment and DM us. We're listening and responding. How are people resonating with our messages? Do we see a post that gets a lot of activity? What kind of content was that? We'll keep doing that same kind of content. What are people saying? What are their challenges? And then, of course, we're analyzing these things and optimizing based on the results. So you can take a picture of this if you'd like, or a screenshot, but this is kind of the quick overview of we're determining our PCGs. What I always say, PCGs are perfect customer groups. And what content would resonate with them. Then we research common struggles, objections, and desires of our target audience and list the solution for each pain point. I got a quick way for you to do this. We'll talk about it today. We're going to share content, events, promotions through social media, email, ads, and other channels. So this is where we use our marketing calendar, right, of those promotions and things that are going on. Then we document. Don't forget to share the real life, behind the scenes content. Use the Daily 5 if you need. We teach the Daily 5 in a lot of different ways. We have a training that's coming out this month about the Daily 5 if you haven't learned that yet. So be on the lookout because we'll be posting that to social. We'll send it via email. It's a free, quick training on what that Daily 5 is. And then ask questions, run polls, contests to spark two-way conversation, monitor conversations and respond to comments, questions, and feedback, and review metrics to see what content and strategies work and what needs improvement. So this is bird's eye view. This is what we're running all of our social, our email, our texting through. Just make sure that we're hitting these points. Sometimes we skip these points. We skip the pain and solution. We skip the documenting and behind the scenes. We skip the encouraging the engagement. How this is different, in my opinion, from different people that teach social media or just how small businesses will do social media is, like I said, we skip the pain points. We're not necessarily posting to the right channels. We haven't taken a minute to really stop and analyze, where should I be spending my time? Where are my customers spending their time? You know, if I'm going to grow and grow my visibility, I need to be at the best places where my customers are showing up and getting comfortable with those areas and those apps. The documenting piece, like I said, we often skip, and that engagement we skip. So this is how that's a little different. Now let's talk about the 30 post framework, because this is exactly going to solve and help you get that pain and solution done. So here's what we do. We take AI. In this case, I'm going to take ChatGPT. Now, real quick, for any of you that have not used ChatGPT yet, this is going to be an action item for you. You can go to chat.openai.com. It's a free tool. For what I'm going to talk about today, you can use it for free. There is a paid option for $20 a month, but you can do a lot on the free tool. And AI, basically, through ChatGPT, engineers built this bot to learn tons of information. And so it's almost like this powerful brain that holds all this information, and you can go to it and you can ask questions. You can ask it to write things for you. You can ask it to brainstorm stuff with you. You can ask it to outline. It can write press releases, email copy, create social media calendars for you, write employees up, write job descriptions, brainstorm event ideas. It can write poems. It can do so much stuff for you. So if you haven't used it, I want you to go, and I just want you to start plugging in some prompts so you can start understanding how this works. So we're going to use AI, and we're going to have AI list solutions for each of our customers' top 5 problems using 6 different content types. So if we multiply 5 by 6, those are 30 posts. So it's going to create a whole month of content for you within seconds. So the 6 content types are a photo, a reel or TikTok, live stream, a story, a carousel, and a meme or quote graphic. Now, a carousel on Instagram, that's where you have 2 or more images that you've posted, so people can scroll through and see those images. Right now, a carousel post is what's working best on Instagram. So we want to try to use carousels multiple times every week. And the reason I have a variety here is for 2 reasons. All of these apps like when you're using different parts of how to create content. So a photo is different than a reel, then it's different than live stream, then it's different than stories. They show up different. They work different. These apps like when you're using different parts. They reward that behavior by showing more of your content to more of the people that follow you. Secondly, when we're using different forms of social media content like this, it it makes it less stale to your customer. If you're always posting a post, like a photo, and that's it, or you're just always doing reels, we can get tired of that type of content. And so we want to diversify our content. So these are our 6 content types, and this is the prompt that we put into AI, into ChatGPT. Please list 5 pain points, challenges my customers have. I own a fill in the blank. So the more information you give, the better typically, because the AI is going to learn, okay, what kind of store are you? What products do you sell? And it could come up with better solutions. But just know that you could put in, please list the top 5 pain points. I own a gift shop. And that's it. And it's going to give you the answers. So this is an example I did for a gift shop. So it said pain points for a gift shop. Number 1, difficulty finding unique gifts, budget concerns, last minute shopping stress, lack of personalization, and uncertainty in gift appropriateness. So what I love about this and what I recommend is have AI write these pain points for you first. You might know a lot. You probably do. You know some of these pain points that your customers struggle with. I don't want you to plug those in yet. I want you to first just see what ChatGPT comes up with. Because like I talked about yesterday, it's hard for us to see the picture when we're in the frame. So we think we know these things, but we want to take a step back, and AI is almost taking that step back to come up with some of these new pain points for us. So now we've got 5 great pain points. You can use these 5, you can ask for more, you can add in your own pain points that you know your customers really struggle with. But now we've got 5 pain points. So our next prompt is thank you. Please, I like to say thank you and please because we don't know what the robots are going to do in the future. So I would like to know them to know that Crystal was kind and courteous. So then we say, thank you. Please address each of the top 5 pain points for social media content in the following 6 content types. Coming from me, the owner of enter your business, and then you can list those 6 content types. So there we go. And if you want to take a picture of this, you can. I do have a tool that has some of this already built in for you, which is going to save you time so you don't have to type this out all the time. But this is a good prompt to have on hand. Within seconds, ChatGPT is going to give you the content type for each of the 5 pain points for each of the 6 content types. How cool is that? So now we've got a photo where we can showcase a unique handcrafted item available at the shop with a captivating story behind it. I love that AI is talking about story. Instagram and TikTok specifically said, tell more stories in your content. We've got a reel or a TikTok of a fun video tour highlighting the most unique and quirky items in the store. We could do a live stream and host a Q&A session about finding unique gifts for different personalities and occasions. We could do a story, share customer testimonials or reactions to receiving one-of-a-kind gifts from the shop. Carousel posts feature a series of images showing how these unique gifts are sourced or made. Quote graphic meme, create a relatable meme about the struggle of finding unique gifts and how you shop and how your shop solves it. What happens with this kind of content is it becomes more interesting to your PCGs because we're addressing the challenges and pain points that they have. So for me personally, I struggle with gift buying. Like this is so like up my alley. So if I start seeing some of these really helpful posts for me, I'm learning, it's giving me ideas, and then you're showcasing product at the same time, but without saying, buy now, this is 50% off, this just came in. We're doing it in a really helpful, unique, interesting way. That's going to get people to intercept the attention, stay on your content longer, and be more likely to act on it. Here's the budget concerns, post a beautiful arranged selection of gifts under a specific price point. You could create a lighthearted video showcasing budget-friendly finds, discuss how to choose meaningful gifts on a budget, feature your suggestions from the store. You could do a story sharing daily or weekly special offers or discounts, carousel post, a series of images, top 5 gifts under $20, or similar themes, quote graphic inspirational quote about the value of thoughtfulness over the cost. So again, this is just feeding you these ideas to intercept the attention. So I won't go through all of these, but just to show you, all of a sudden, we've got 30 post ideas. And you could even ask AI, thank you, can you elaborate on XYZ? Or can you give me additional ideas for XYZ? Or will you give me more ideas for this pain point? It can start just feeding you these ideas. Uncertainty and gift appropriateness, again, gives you all sorts of ideas here. And so I also did this for a toy store, so we could just look at the pain points that the toy store have: age appropriateness concerns, educational value, quality and safety, trend awareness, and special needs consideration. And so then boom, it writes these ideas. Here's for the pain point: age appropriateness. So post an image of a toy with clear age range labeling, create a fun video categorizing toys by age group. Like, this is just more creative, helpful ways for you to post about products and about your store. So this is our 30 post framework. And I went ahead and I built a GPT for you. So this is newer to ChatGPT, but anybody who has a paid ChatGPT account can build custom GPTs. And so what I did is I created this 30 post framework with me. It's strategies for retailers focusing on customer pains, real life content like that documenting and behind the scenes, and SMART goals. And I've programmed the AI to learn, make sure you're asking about SMART goals, make sure you're talking about behind the scenes content for documenting, make sure that you are giving content ideas for these 6 content types. So those 6 content types I talked about are already programmed into this framework. So as you're using it, you don't have to even put in those content types. It's automatically going to do it for you. So you can scan this code. We'll also, with the replay and on the replay page, we'll include this link, but this is a free tool to help you create social media content really fast, that's more meaningful, that's about your customers' pains and helping you document connecting to your SMART goals. So hopefully you love this tool, and I would love to get your feedback from it. You know, it is new, so we're learning. Yes, Pauline, I know, I love it too. Yes, Dawn, you're welcome. And then just let us know how you're using it, if it's saving you time. But this is the whole point of growth and visibility comes from consistently showing up with the right kind of meaningful content for our customers. This is a tool to help you do it. If you use this system and you're posting this content every single day, it helps create that consistency, gives you more of that plan of what you're posting, and has that system. So what holds retailers back, like we talked about in the beginning, is the resistance, or no plan, or no system, or no accountability is such a big one. You know, we are business owners. We don't have a boss necessarily. So of course, like, paying ourselves and our team and paying our bills is the accountability. But sometimes we might not have that extra push to level up, to go next level, because we don't have that accountability baked in, and we don't have somebody saying like, hey, you've got to commit to showing up to on social, or in your emails, or through your text marketing, or through your loyalty program. Like, we've got to commit. Lack of knowledge, again, because it's changing so fast, or lack of support. And I really hope that you turn to us at Crystal Media, because we have the training, we have the support. We're always a resource for you. We've got a lot of free and paid resources. So just always turn to us if you ever need that support. But I will say the number one thing that I've seen for retailers holding them back is fear. Hands down. And I've been traveling all over the country talking about this, and retailers will even afterwards pull me aside with tears in their eyes, because there is a lot of fear about showing up on social media. We have fears of success. This is a real thing. A really great book is called The Big Leap. I really recommend it. In the book, the author talks about how we all have an internal thermostat set at a certain temperature that we're comfortable with, of a level of success. So let's say it's set to 75 degrees, and this is the comfort level of my success, that I feel good. And as I grow my business and I'm getting above the level that I've set, and it's getting hotter, what we tend to do as humans is we self-sabotage to bring us back down to where we feel comfortable. So this is a really great book that talks about that. And I think it's really important for us to be self-aware and notice those things, because when you read that book and you know that we do this, you'll catch yourself sabotaging. And like, I've done this so many times. I mean, we've had successful promotions and launches and events and webinars, and then we never do it again. And it's like, Why aren't we doing this again? That was very successful. There's so many things that we do to sabotage. So there's the fear of success. We'll be like knocking it out of the park with our social media, and then it's working really well, and then we'll just stop. That's self-sabotage, right? So we want to make sure we're not doing that. We have that fear of failure, of being seen. A lot of retailers that I work with and speak to do not want their faces out there. They don't feel comfortable. They don't feel comfortable for a lot of different reasons, on how they look, on how they sound. I was speaking to a group of business women, and they were talking about the aging process and how they just don't like how they've aged, and they're very uncomfortable with taking pictures and video. And now all of a sudden, that's like the way to market your business, and it's frustrating for some. But I will tell you time and time again, the retailers that I've worked with that felt that way in the beginning and were hiding and were resisting, but decided to do it anyways, and they just kept doing it over and over and over and built that comfortability, built that confidence, they've transformed. A perfect example of this, Michelle Smith of Piccolo Mundo Toys, years ago, I think it was 2021, she came into our world. She was hiding. You go to her Instagram account, you did not see anything of Michelle. And then she started listening to our content, started putting herself out there, even though she was wildly uncomfortable with it, but kept doing it more and more and more. And all of a sudden, her content became a little bit more like her. It was fun. It was playful. She started doing live streams. She started doing Toy Talk Tuesdays, every Tuesday, live streaming from the store. Those live streams started producing multiple thousands of dollars from that 1 hour of live streaming. She's got customers saying, I love seeing you, customers coming in saying how much they love the content. And then when I sat down with Michelle, I was like, okay, so you hated going live before. And she's like, yeah, oh my gosh, I almost like wanted to cry. I hated it. It was so uncomfortable. And I'm like, how do you feel about lives now? And she's like, oh, you want to go live now? Let's do it. Like, she's just so comfortable with doing it now because she did it over and over again. And she got that feedback from her audience. Your audience wants to see you. When you shine your light, it gives them permission to do the same. They find inspiration in what you're doing because they're seeing you show up and put yourself out there. And that's encouraging and that's inspiring. And this is the way to create that meaningful relationship and meaningful content. That's what I care about. I don't care about hacking the algorithm and hacking really it's the algorithm or whatever, like doing all these things that just don't really go viral. Well, who cares if you go viral if it's not the people that will buy from you and become loyal customers? That's what we're here for, right? And so you've got to put yourself out there, but we have a lot of fear of that visibility, of the unknown, how we'll look and sound. Messing up is such a big one. And I just got it. You might have heard me say this before because I say it a lot. I once heard on a podcast that a Broadway playwright said, the way you write a character to be somebody that people hate is make them perfect. We don't want perfection. You are not supposed to be perfect on your lives, in your content. You are human. People relate to human. They connect with that. You need to be you. Last night I was filming an after the show live stream for our podcast, Rooted in Retail. It's a new thing we're doing. It's Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. Mountain. I stream live and we go deeper on that week's episode of Rooted in Retail. Join me if you want. We have a Facebook group for Rooted in Retail. Go to Facebook, search Rooted in Retail. So I'm going live and I've got a dog that comes into my office who's like starting to have a breathing problem. And so I'm needing to call Dustin to come in and help the dog. And then the dog's fine, but he's all playful. Dustin shows the dog on the camera and I'm just like, it's real life, people. Like it is what it is. And am I going to have retailers stop following me now because of that? Am I going to have people listen and be like, oh, this is a disaster. I can't believe that she took 1 minute to talk about an issue that's going on. No, people are probably in the car or wherever they are saying, been there before, like we've been there. I'm human. And we connect with humans. And so don't be worried about messing up. People actually really enjoy when you mess up. Why do you think blooper videos have millions of views? We love when people mess up. Thank you, team, for adding that Rooted in Retail Facebook group in there. And then, of course, that technology. And honestly, we say this to our retailers all the time. The more you just got to get in there and use it. So if you've never used ChatGPT, somebody's sitting here being like, oh, it's another thing I have to learn. I don't have the time for this. I don't want to do this. It's going to take so long. But honestly, the hardest part is getting started. You just have to put on your calendar, block some time, get in there, start using it. You use it. The more we use these apps, the easier it becomes. It's just that initial fear of learning something new. And so there's tons of training. We have training. There's training online about how to use all the apps and what buttons to push. You have access to that. But honestly, getting in there and just pushing the buttons yourself is going to be one of the best ways to learn the technology. I really want us to focus on that growth mindset and leverage these tools, because if we don't, we'll be left behind. So it's really about how am I leveraging, because there's so much you can do with AI. We'll talk a lot about AI at my retreat. We'll talk about it at Evolve. I have AI training for our insider members because it's just so important. We can't ignore these tools. They're going to streamline your business. Social media and what's coming. The shops are so big right now with TikTok. Meta's changing their shops. This is a great way, though, for you to sell more product. It's another channel for you. But if you're like, nope, I don't want to learn it. I don't want to know the technology, and we kind of tune it out, you'll get left behind. So I really am encouraging our retailers to have that growth mindset. Think about your customers, their pain points, how you can support them, and leverage the technology. If you're not showing up, you don't exist, and it is your time to shine. And I say this a lot too. I truly believe this. Our independent retailers have such an advantage over big box retailers and Amazon because of your people, because of you. And if you are not leveraging that beautiful asset and putting it out there and connecting, whether it is on social, in a video, in a photo, if you're writing these personal emails or a sweet text to your text list, whatever that is right for you and your brand and your personality, if you're not showing up, though, they're going to choose somebody else, because you won't exist, right? The consumer has so many choices. And of course, they're going to choose Amazon in times of need of that convenience, or I need something quick, or it's something special like that they can't find locally, whatever, that's going to happen. But when I'm building the relationship where I'm feeling like you're my best friend and I just know you, I'm going to choose you. And you've got to show up. It's your time to shine. And when you shine, you give permission for other people to shine too. So, our transformation challenge is coming to a conclusion. Let's recap what we've went over. On day one, we talked about some things that really have worked well for me. And one thing I actually wanted to say today too is this morning, as I was doing my journaling and I got up to go to the bathroom, and I'm coming back and I'm thinking, and I'm like, gosh, I kind of feel like really overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. We've got a lot of events. We've got partnerships. I'm traveling a lot. Like, we're doing such cool stuff and it's a lot. And I'm like, okay, I know what to do in this moment. What I do, I sit down and I brain dump everything. I'm like, okay, what do I need to do for Evolve? What do I need to do for the podcast? What do I need to do for the retreat? What do I need to do for my insider program? What events are coming up? And it's every little thing that I need to do. It helps me so much when I get it out of my brain and on a piece of paper. And then you can just look at it all and start thinking, okay, what is the highest priority? What's coming up quickest I need to get done? What's going to be the biggest needle mover for me? And then I'll highlight, I'll star, I'll circle. Those are my categorizing methods. And then I get it on Asana and I start plugging away at the list. So that's another thing I do that's so helpful is if you're ever feeling that overwhelm, just stop. It took me 10 minutes to do that. Get it on the piece of paper and map it out. So we talked about what worked for me, the word of the year. Hopefully you came up with your word of the year and are excited about that. If you haven't shared it yet, you could chat it in. You can share it with me over on Instagram, and you're working on your SMART goals. Maybe you set some of those SMART goals. And we talked about the business and life purpose from that awesome article. I hope you spend time in doing that exercise. Day two, we talked about how we jump into action and reverse engineer those SMART goals and how we do create that momentum. And it's really setting ourselves up for success and maybe changing the way we do things or creating habits or building in some accountability. And then, of course, we talked about our retreat yesterday too. And then today, why social media doesn't get done or done well, the digital content system, which I hope you'll use to kind of just work all of your content through and make sure you're hitting all the points, leveraging the 30 post framework to keep you consistent and creating meaningful content that connects to help you grow, to help you be seen by more of your audience. And that number one thing, which is fear. And if we can, my mentor, Jen Gottlieb, who's also speaking at Evolve, says, put fear in the passenger seat. Like, it's not driving. It can come along in the trip with you, but it gets to be in the passenger seat. So you're going to have it. Even like I've spoken on over 100 stages, I've spoke a lot. I still get nervous. There's fear. We're all human. So, okay, here the fear, here it is. It's with me, but I'm going to do it anyways. And we have such an opportunity to grow our business, to be visible, to be seen through social, that I don't want you to hide and be the best kept secret. So make sure that you overcome that fear, put yourself out there, have the clarity, the courage, the commitment, the consistency, and ideally that help. And a reminder, in case you weren't here yesterday, we have our Oasis of Opportunity retreat. This is where we're going to be brainstorming new opportunities and ideas for your store, getting very clear on what is in store for 2024. We're going to hot seat. Everybody's going to work on a challenge or an issue or creative idea that you're working on, help work on your 2024 marketing plan, reverse engineer your SMART goals. We got some AI training, some social media training, and there's a whole team to help support you at this event, happening February 18th through the 20th in Palm Springs. As of right now, we only have 8 tickets left. We would love to see you as a part of this. I love masterminding. I love going deeper with our retailers. I love connecting to new ideas, new opportunities, and connecting each other with each other. The investment is just under $4,000. We can multiply that in no time from just one idea that will come out of this retreat, and you have to apply. So here's the code, or here's the link, and we put it in the chat as well. Apply, reach out if you want more information. You can email me personally, crystal@crystalmediaco.com. But it's happening in just a month, and that's what I was waking up thinking, oh my gosh, in a month, I'm going to be in Palm Springs getting ready for this retreat. And then I saw that beautiful owl, and I'm like, what is happening? This is so, so cool. I'm really excited for the transformation that we're going to create there. But it's my hopes that you got some high level transformation. You got some tools to work with over the past 3 days. If you did, will you chat in and let me know? Because this was some new content for us. Some was repeat content, some was new. Especially day one was a lot of new content for us, and we're exploring doing more of that. Diane, amazing content. Yes, Pauline, good. I'm happy to hear that. Your feedback really helps us in knowing that if this is right for you, if this is what you're looking for, if this is where you're at, and we can help support you, because there's just so much that we can do and we want to do, and we want to be there for our retailers. So if there's ever anything in the future that you need or you're curious about, please reach out, let us know, give us that feedback. We are here to support you. Pat says, great content, need to go back and rewatch and take more notes. Exactly. And Dawn, well done. I appreciate you sharing. You're so welcome. The replays are going to be live until the end of January. So make sure if you're like me, I've got to put it in my Asana reminder, go through the replays again before they're gone. So just make that note. Or if there is anybody on your team, especially who's helping with social, you might want them to go through this day 3 and even maybe day 2, because we reverse engineer those SMART goals. These are things that they should be doing with you as well. I just want to close in saying that I had AI create this graphic. I was playing around with a new AI tool that creates slides, and I really liked this slide, so I kept it. It's so different than what we normally do, but it's so true. Success isn't guaranteed. You could be creating this content with the 30 posts, and you're doing some of the pain solution, and you're posting, and no one comes in and no one comments and no one likes it, and you're feeling like this isn't working for me. The thing is we have to test, we have to tweak, we have to try, we keep trying, and the consumer changes and we change and the technology and the platform changes. And so this is the power of evolving and adapting. And it's why it's so important. So we have to try different things for what works for us. And failure is not fatal. I mean, I heard once, you either win or you learn. Like, there's no failing. If you're posting and you're just feeling like, oh, this is awful and nobody's watching my live streams and it's just not working and I feel like I'm a failure, or my sales are down, I'm trying so many different things and I'm failing, it's not fatal. It's an opportunity to learn from the information and tweak and change and keep trying. And I've been there before, trust me, and I know it can get tiring trying something new and again and again. And you're like, oh, I just want it to work. But when you have your customers in mind and they're number one, how do I best serve them? How do I show up for them? And you keep trying and showing up, you will get there, but you're either winning or you're learning. Visibility can attract critics. That's the truth. And I think that that's where we have a lot of that fear, where we won't even put ourselves out there because we're afraid of the critics, of what people will say. And often my retailers, we've talked about this a lot over the years, is they're hiding because of a potential problem that hasn't even happened yet. So you could put yourself out there and people may never criticize you. You may have no bullies. I hope that is the case for you. And that's the case for most. But the more you're seen, the bigger platform you have, it's bound to happen. Somebody gets mad. Somebody comments on something. We are just, behind the screen. Those people behind the screen are very brave and say things. And so that happens. And it's not worth you hiding because of those potential people that you can respond to with kindness and love, that you can block, whatever you have to do. But it is part of that. And I think the more that we're just ourselves and we're honest and we're transparent and we're human, the more we attract the right people. So don't hide for that reason. And the unknown is normal. The unknown is so scary, but it's very normal. Technology is changing. There's so much that we don't know. We don't know what's coming. We don't know what kind of results are going to happen. We don't know. And we'll let that hold us back because the unknown is scary, but it's so normal for all of us. So we just have to embrace it. And like my grandma says, do it afraid. And fears fade with time. Like I talked about Michelle with Piccomondo and toys, and she just did it over and over and over again. And now she's a pro. She could probably start doing a training about live streaming for retailers. Like, she's a pro. So you do it and it will fade. I promise. There's that statement, new levels, new devils. You'll conquer that. And then you're going to go to the next level, and fear is going to happen. Something's going to get in the way, but then you're going to conquer that. But you can't let it hold you back. You've got to keep going. It does fade with time. We've got to keep evolving. We've got to keep growing. I really believe, like, evolve or die. I know that sounds terrible, but we as humans, we've got to evolve. We've got to keep growing and keep learning and keep challenging ourselves. Lose it if you don't use it, right? We talk about people who retire. I just said this to my mother last night. I'm like, Mom, are you moving your body? She's retired and it's been so cold and she's not getting out there. I'm like, if you don't use it, you lose it. So we got to make sure that we're evolving, we're challenging ourselves, we're putting ourselves out there, we're showing up. And from my team and I, we are wishing you an epic 2024. I hope that this is your best year yet. I hope you leverage these tools. I hope that you reach out to us if you need that support, because we are here for you. It's changing very fast. It's a crazy world we live in, but it's also very exciting. So we're here to help you with those opportunities and help you shine online, and connect with us on social, Instagram, and me personally, or the business. Would love to connect with you there and hear what kinds of transformations you're having. And that's it for our 3-day transformation challenge. We are wishing you so much success. Thank you for being here, for spending the time with us. And it's so good to see you. Thank you for those of you, a few of you who had your cameras on. It really means a lot because I get to see some people. So it's so nice seeing you, and have a wonderful rest of your week. If you need anything, let us know. We're